Hi, I'm Paul with Boaters Exchange in Rockledge, Florida, and today we're going to take a quick look at the Yamaha 19 fish jet boat. It's called the 190 FSH. This boat is pretty unique in the marketplace because it's a jet-powered fishing boat and also has a lot of other unique features. But the biggest one is that it's a shallow draft boat. Because of the jet boat technology, there's no lower unit, so you can sneak into some really shallow places to fish. Of course, you have to be careful because the jet pickup is on the bottom of the boat. So we like to tell people to, when they do get into shallows, to be careful about getting into too shallow, and we'll talk about that later. Some of the neat features are, number one, these boats come with a trailer. So first and foremost, on the trailer side, which is probably the least exciting part of owning a boat, is that it has a zero clearance trailer. One of the nice things on the side of the boat are the style lines, and what they do is they add a little bit of depth to the boat, a little bit of beauty, but also make the boat very rigid in terms of the hull. And a stiffer boat generally leads to better fuel economy, a little bit better speed, and better fuel economy. We've got gunnel mounted rod holders. There is non-skid on the top of the gunnel, so if you choose to stand on the gunnel and maybe work a fish that way, it's a little bit safe because you've got non-skid built into the top of the gunnel. On the back of the 19 fish, there's some other neat features such as the swim platform, and the swim platform has a couple of steps making it easy to get in and out of the boat from the water. But what makes it even better is that the swim platform is very low to the water line. Jet boats are able to get away with that because the propulsion point is coming from the jet drive at a higher place on the back of the boat. Therefore, when you give it throttle, the bow of the boat does not raise up, and as a consequence, the back of the boat doesn't go down. And so therefore you don't have to have a high swim platform to compensate. So jet boat owners really like the fact that getting in and out of the water is very, very easy. Because of that, there's an integrated swim ladder, a grab handle not only here and here, and so for what they call re-entry on the boat, it's quite easy. While we're here, it's a good time to look at the articulating keel, one of the major features of the 19 fish. So the articulating keel is unique to all Yamaha jet boats from 19 all the way up to 24. And they don't call it a rudder, they call it an articulating keel because of the fact that there is a keel on this boat that goes all the way forward, probably all the way to midships. And what that does is offer better control during low speed. One of the complaints traditionally of jet boats is that some owners didn't prefer the low speed handling. They felt it was a little too loose. And so one of the ways that Yamaha has overcome this is through the articulating keel. So as the jet nozzle is shooting water out, it's able to turn, and it changes the angle of the keel as well, the articulating keel, for that rudder effect. Very ingenious. And then the last thing at the back of the boat, you've got this extra step built in, and over here is cast net storage. There's actually enough depth here for a 5-gallon bucket with a slam latch. On this side, we have access to the cleanout plug for the jet itself. So right here is what we call the cleanout plug. This device comes out and it allows you to gain access to the actual jet impeller in case something got clogged in the impeller. And that's a patent that you'll find only on Yamaha jet boats. By the way, you'll notice that all of the gas pistons and hardware is stainless steel, which is a must for any saltwater boat. Don't forget about the coaming pads on the rear step, very important. Okay, so on the 19 fish jet boat by Yamaha, there are 3 flavors. There's the basic model that has no bimini, no T-top. Then there is the medium model called the Deluxe, which has a bimini top standard. It also has a bow fishing seat. And then there's the sport model. So the 190 Sport. And the Sport model is code for T-top. The nice thing about the T-top is it's totally removable with 4 Allen screws right here. And that would help out for storage. And also the windshield is removable with just these little thumb knobs right here. So this boat can easily store in a garage. It's also got powder coating standard, and that's the 19 Sport version. Let's take a look at the bow. Okay, so even though the bow of the boat is a small area, there's a lot to talk about. First of all, Yamaha came up with easy entry steps. So you've got, with non-skid, a built-in casting platform, so you can easily get to the very front of it and access the casting platform. And for a 19-foot boat, the way they've designed it is very wide. They've got non-skid on the step, non-skid on the platform itself, non-skid on the gunnel tops. Oh, by the way, it comes with coaming cushions and a cushion to sit on. So if someone were to sit and maybe just cast from right here, or just sit here while the boat's cruising, you've got a place for that. This whole area is storage. So there's access on both sides of the deck. One large compartment that goes straight through, and more storage over here, which would actually be your fish box. And this is finished glass and it drains overboard. 19-foot boat also has an anchor locker. What I like about their anchor locker is there's a place for the anchor. So it actually has an anchor hanger built in, and it locks into place, keeps the anchor from bouncing around. You've got a notch for the anchor rope. You'd be surprised how many boat companies forget about that, so that I can cleat off the anchor line and close my hatch. And oh, by the way, a pop-up cleat for the anchor line. Very well thought through. Hey, did I mention that the person sitting down up front when they're underway has a grab handle? And it's amazing how many boats forget about the grab handle. So the person sitting here has a grab handle, and the person sitting here has a grab handle. Now this is where the boat gets exciting. Now for a little 19-foot fishing boat, there is so much to talk about because of how much Yamaha has designed in. You won't find another 19-foot center console that has the ability to open up and have access to a full-size enclosed head. They give you this curtain package here that gives privacy, and this whole area steps down. There's a step right here, and it steps down into an area where you can put a porta potty if you wish. I took the curtain away so we can see inside the head, but you can tell this is a big cavern, plenty of room in here, access to the rigging space, a holder for the anchor light, a light for the space, room for a porta potty, and oh, by the way, up in the front is a cavern for 2 trolling motor batteries. This boat comes pre-set up to add a trolling motor. All right, horizontal rod storage over here, super important. I've got vertical rod storage on this side. I have coaming pads going all the way around the boat. Super important to me. Oh, by the way, flip up seating on either side makes it ambidextrous, so I can use this as a casting platform or a seating position. What's underneath here? Just open storage. You've got storage on this boat all over the place. Flip this down, battery access on this side, live well on the other side. Super handy. And check the live well out. They managed to make it blue inside so the fish have a little less fatigue. There's also not only a water change, but also an air intake for an aerator. Stainless steel gas piston. Now we have a saying in the boating industry that until the hands are on the wheel, you can't seal the deal. So this is the most important part of the boat, and that is the console. And of course, this is well thought out. We've got a cast stainless steel wheel with a tilt helm, very important. It's a cable steer, but because it's only turning the jet nozzle, it's extremely smooth. So they call this rack and pinion. Now, the switches, the gauges are well thought out. There's actually a digital readout on the tachometer that gives you information about RPM, fuel economy, and some other details, including depth. There's a built-in compass to the right of the switch panel, these are nice high quality switches. To the right of that switch panel is an area for a flush mounted GPS. You could also surface mount if you want, right up top. Some people actually put a little piece of C-deck material up here, so you have a nice storage area. You've also got storage here for your keys, wallet. There's a glove box area. There's actually a charging port here and a port to an MP3 player port. We've got a glove box, so you can lock your stuff. If you want to go up to the restaurant and lock some of your valuables, you can. Very well thought out. Now would be a good time to talk about the washdown system on this boat. Yamaha is known for their incredible design. Let's face it, Japanese know how to design products, and one of the ways that they impressed me is in their raw water washdown system. Rather than have a separate pump for the raw water washdown, why not just tie into the jet pump? It's constantly rotating, constantly creating pressure. The switch on the dash simply revs up the motor if it's in neutral or at idle to generate enough pressure for raw water. Instead of having a separate pump, Yamaha just tied into what they already had. Very ingenious. Speaking of ingenious, here's the motor compartment. You just open the hatch here. We have a 1.8 liter marine power head. This is a motor that is made for saltwater. It is designed from the ground up for boating use. This isn't an inboard outboard where we took an automotive motor and marinized it. Instead, this motor was made from the ground up with the right materials and metals that are designed to hold up to saltwater punishment. One of the questions I get frequently is, how does a jet boat motor compare to an outboard or an inboard outboard? And the answer is that the jet boat design is actually less complex mechanics than an outboard or an inboard outboard. And the reason is because of the way that it shifts. A jet boat is constantly rotating. The motor is always spinning, and so is the impeller. It's always producing jet flow. And when you shift it, all you're really doing, instead of shifting gears and having to have a gearbox that's swiveling as it steers, all that's really happening is the jet flow, when you shift it into neutral, changes so that the jet flow just goes straight up and down. In reverse, the jet flow is sent forward, and then in forward gear, the jet flow is sent backwards. So what that means is, from a mechanical point of view, there's no complicated gearbox. There's no worrying of having to have a big inboard outboard bellows type of scenario with gimbal bearings and all these other things that tend to break frequently. That's why when you buy a jet boat, the maintenance is a lot less expensive. The annual maintenance is less expensive. There's no lower unit, less things that need to be maintained. So that concludes our walkthrough of the 19 fish boat made by Yamaha Jet Boats. My name is Paul with Boaters Exchange. You can find us online at boatersexchange.com. One of the things we didn't cover is price, and the answer is depends on the model. These boats start in the low 30s and sell on upwards into the mid 30s. So it depends on how they're equipped and which model. You're welcome to give us a call and we can walk you through. Thanks so much.